Hello, everyone. This is Tanya from the Saved by King Jesus channel. Welcome back. So today I want to discuss Tartaria with you and my thoughts on it. But let's have a look at this first.
So the CIA actually came out and admitted that they erased and rewrote some of our history. And that history is of the Tartarian Empire. So Tartaria was thought to be a global and technologically advanced civilization that existed way before the 1800s up until the 1900s, where it was wiped out by a Great Reset, aka the Mud Flood. Then it was completely erased from the history books and rewritten in order to hide us from the truth. Now I know this sounds crazy and you're probably already running to the comments to call me some name, but I brought the receipts. Comes directly from the CIA's website. It was released in 1957. The Central Committee of the Communist Party issued a directive ordering the party's Tartar Provincial Committee to proceed to a scientific revision of the history of Tartaria. In other words, Tartar history was to be rewritten. Let us be frank, was to be falsified. I don't know if I'm saying Tartar right. And why would Tartaria be depicted in old world maps if it wasn't a thing? And Putin actually wants to release the real history of Tartaria. Now take a look at some of these buildings. We were told that these were built by people that rode in horse and buggies. We're expected to believe that they built things like this with a hammer and a chisel. Like, even if scaffolding was a thing, the precision, the accuracy. These people were way more advanced than we give them credit for. Like, these buildings are said to have been built in the 1800s. And just look at some of these inventions that they had. The math ain't mathin'. Now, this civilization was thought to have been wiped out by a huge flood that buried it in feet of mud, which was also known as the Mud Flood. And that is why we see so many buildings that look like they have just been buried, or that have basement windows and doors. And this would be kind of a stretch if they didn't dig up the buildings and find that they were in fact buried. That fact alone just blows my mind because I see buildings like that all the time, and now I wonder how far down they actually go. And it also makes me wonder if all the underground tunnels have something to do with this buried empire. And I know you're probably wondering, like, why the heck would they hide this from us? But it was thought that Tartarians actually knew how to harvest free energy from the Earth's magnetic field, or ether. The pillars are thought to be energy conductors. And the pointy things that you see all over them are actually antennae. Also thought to be the reason why a lot of them have gold tops. Now I know that part is just a theory, but think about it. Electricity is all around us. What do you think lightning is? What do you think static electricity is? There is definitely a better way to harness energy besides slaving over fossil fuels. We are living in the Lorax. Now on that note, I'm going to leave you with one more thought. Who are these doors built for?
Tartaria was everywhere, and history as we know it has been completely fabricated. At first we thought maybe the Dark Ages were just unclear, but it turns out they were invented to push a lot of events further into the past. We realized that it wasn't just small parts of history that might be wrong, everything was made up. One fascinating thing is the architecture we find around the world. In almost every city you'll find ancient Gothic-style buildings with incredibly intricate designs. People look at them and say, oh, that's just how they built things back then, but some of these buildings are absolutely stunning. Think about it. If we lived in a feudal society where everyone was working just to survive, how would anyone have had the time, resources, or motivation to build something so elaborate and that worked the way they did? These buildings weren't just practical structures like free energy generators, they were artistic expressions. They were built to be functional and beautiful, to celebrate what was being created. But we don't build like that anymore. The complexity and beauty of these structures are clues that we didn't live in the same pay-to-survive system we're trapped in now. Tartaria was a global civilization, incredibly advanced and powered by free energy, likely based on etheric energy. It existed up until about 200 or 250 years ago. Estimates place its early origins around the mid-17th century, and its destruction came shortly after. They've been lying to you all along.
a discussion with Glenn. I kind of want to share it with you guys. And I was explaining to him because he was saying, Scripture, blessed are they who see and believe, but more blessed are they who do not see but yet believe. And it brought to mind all of the generations before us, okay? We were discussing the angels and how they had 70 generations. And we believe that they were probably released from their prison in the early 1900s or very late 1800s. Okay, hence the technology that you saw, like for example, they say it's Tartarian, but it wasn't. You see these big blimps and all of these exhibitions spanning 80 miles, some of them, and then they were all taken down, demolition. Take Nikola Tesla, for example. What's to say he wasn't a fallen angel? He invented the induction motor in 1887 to 88. Well, these angels probably told them to take it down because it was before due time, okay? Before humans, us, were ready to accept these things. But now they have us accepting everything. With that said, with this third industrial revolution, right, they could make money and they could rule the world. And that's exactly what they wanted, and that's exactly what they are doing. Our King Jesus didn't bring us this far to abandon us now. You were called, you were chosen. You were knit together in your mother's wombs, fearfully and wonderfully made. We are called to serve. King Jesus bless you all.